In a quiet region far from the spotlight, a young man was growing up with an unusual way of seeing the world, while others focused on simple ambitions. His mind was constantly drawn to systems, how they function, how they fail, and how they can be controlled. From an early age, he showed a rare ability to notice patterns that most people would completely ignore. His fascination with technology quickly turned into obsession. He spent countless hours studying machines, software, and security structures, not just to understand them, but to master them. What made him different wasn't just intelligence, it was curiosity combined with patience. By the time he reached adulthood, he had entered a highly specialized environment linked to advanced, technical and intelligence-related work. It was a world built on secrecy, discipline, and precision, where even the smallest mistake could have serious consequences. In that environment, he developed a deep understanding of complex systems surveillance, access control, and operational structures. He learned not only how systems are built, but more importantly, how they can be bypassed without leaving a trace. For years, he followed the rules. He worked quietly, efficiently, and without drawing attention. To those around him, he was just another disciplined professional doing his job. But internally, something was changing. The more he understood these systems, the more he began to question them, not out of rebellion, but out of possibility. He started to realize that the same knowledge used to protect systems could also be used to exploit them, and that realization planted a dangerous idea. At first, it was just a thought, a what if. What if he applied everything he knew outside the controlled environment he was in? Over time, that thought became stronger. The structure he once respected began to feel limiting, almost like a cage built around his potential. He didn't want to just follow systems anymore. He wanted to outsmart them, control them, and eventually profit from them. That shift in mindset marked the beginning of a second identity, one that would remain hidden for years. And with that decision slowly taking shape, he set his sights on a place where opportunity and risk existed side by side: the United States. When he arrived in the United States, he didn't act immediately. Instead, he observed, the environment was new, but the systems weren't as different as people believed. Beneath the surface, everything followed patterns, and patterns could be studied. He spent weeks moving through cities, watching how people lived, how they parked their cars, how security operated in public and private spaces. Every detail mattered. Luxury vehicles quickly became the center of his attention, not just because of their value, but because they represented a unique opportunity. High demand, combined with overconfidence and security. He noticed something important. Most security systems were designed to stop obvious threats, not calculated ones. And he was anything but obvious. He began testing boundaries in subtle ways. Nothing risky, nothing visible, just small experiments to understand response times and system behavior. His first real operation was executed with extreme precision. No noise, no panic, no mistakes. Within minutes, the vehicle was gone as if it had never been there. That moment was more than just success. It was confirmation. Everything he had learned could now be applied in the real world. Confidence replaced hesitation. He started thinking bigger, not in terms of single actions, but in terms of scalable operations. He understood that to grow, he needed more than skill, he needed a network. Carefully, he began identifying individuals who could serve a purpose: drivers, transporters, intermediaries. Not all of them knew the full picture. Slowly, a structure began to form. Organized, efficient, and most importantly, discreet. What started as a single act was now evolving into something much larger, something that could not easily be stopped. As the operation expanded, it became clear that this was no longer about isolated thefts. It was a System 1 designed with precision and built to operate under the radar. Each part of the network had a role. Scouting teams identified targets, drivers executed the thefts, and logistics handled the movement of vehicles. Speed became the key advantage. Cars were relocated almost immediately, leaving little time for authorities to react. He studied export systems and documentation processes, identifying loopholes that allowed vehicles to be moved across borders. Some cars were modified, others were re-registered under false identities. Every detail was carefully controlled. The operation spread across multiple cities, increasing both its reach and its complexity. Money flowed steadily, turning small profits into a massive underground business. But success brought risk. Patterns began to emerge, even if they were not immediately obvious. Investigators started noticing similarities between cases that once seemed unrelated. Still, he remained confident in his system. It had worked perfectly so far. He believed he was always one step ahead, but in reality, someone had already started following those steps. Authorities began connecting the dots, slowly building a case that pointed to something much bigger than random thefts. Specialized teams were assigned, focusing on patterns, timing, and execution methods. Surveillance footage, shipping data, and financial trails were analyzed in detail. At first, progress was slow. The network was too clean, too careful. Then came the first breakthrough, a small inconsistency that didn't fit. That detail led to another, and then another. The invisible network was starting to take shape. Pressure increased on all sides. Movements became riskier. His team began making small mistakes under stress. Authorities tightened surveillance, waiting for the right moment. The gap between hunter and target was closing rapidly. For the first time, he was no longer in complete control, and the system he built was beginning to crack. No operation, no matter how perfect, can run forever without failure. And his moment was approaching. The investigation had grown into a coordinated effort involving multiple agencies. Surveillance intensified, and communication channels were no longer secure. One critical mistake exposed a key part of the network. From there, everything unraveled quickly. Authorities moved in with precision, targeting multiple locations at once. Arrests were made. Evidence was collected. The system that once operated in silence was now fully exposed. Vehicles, money, and documents became proof of a massive operation. The mastermind, who once controlled every detail, was now part of the system he tried to outsmart. His empire, built on intelligence and precision, collapsed under pressure. And in the end, what began as knowledge became the very reason for his downfall.